Let's uh let's turn this lighting down a little bit, just a little bit. Monday night. We are live. And just chilling. It's been a rough week in the news, that is for sure. But that's okay. We're here. We are living in a wacky world. But hopefully it won't be wacky too much longer. But who knows? I'm just glad that hockey season is upon us in 2 days, in 48 hours. Opening night. The Los Angeles Kings, I just put them away. My number one fan, Ross Incognito. It's a tie between Ross and the great William Zoom. So I got my Comedy Store t-shirt on. And I just got back from a very long walk. See, I told you. Ross and William, it's guaranteed that whenever I do a stream, they will be the first two. It's almost like they're bots, which would be just my luck that my number one and number two fans are not real. They're droids. But you know what? At this point, I'll take them. So Wednesday's a big night for me. I've got the LA Kings versus the Colorado Avalanche. We've got AEW wrestling. And I'm dipping my toes back into the roasting world, not roast battle. Mark my words, I will never do that again. Well, William and Ross, I take the support where I can get them. But if you've ever seen the movie Blood In, Blood Out, it's an iconic Hispanic prison film via George Perez, the legend of George Perez. We are roasting Popeye. If you've seen the movie, you know who Popeye is. So we are going I think it's in the middle of the let me see. What do you think of the Kill Tony treatment of Ric Flair? So let me just finish up about the roast and I'll tell you. We are going in the middle of East LA where, Blood In, Blood Out it's like Star Wars to Hispanic people. It's always on TV, and Popeye is probably the most popular character. And we're all playing characters from the movie. I will be playing Big Al, who is probably the most popular figure, along with Popeye. So it should be pretty fun, I guess. And the movie is it's kind of not a sore spot, but a lot of the people who were in it don't like being associated with it. So both Damien Chapa, Hard Bodies is it's old school. Um, and the actor who played Big Al, they don't want to be associated with the film anymore. So that would have been fun to have them there. But there are a few actors of the film who will be there. So, and then Thursday, I am bringing Inappropriate Earl back. Um, I will be interviewing a former NHL player, Aaron Volpati, who has this crazy story. You know, he was in a horrible burn accident and then worked his way back up to the NHL after being told he'd never play hockey. Um, I missed the podcast too. I just, you know, I'll be pretty honest. I just, after I think 360 episodes, I just kind of got, I wasn't getting paid. So I just was like, why am I doing this? And I don't want money from my fans, but, after 360 episodes, I don't know, I kind of wanted to get paid for at least my time and effort. It's not a tremendously hard thing to do, the podcast. But, so we'll see. And, yeah, I like the football predictions too, but once again, that was more for Jason and Mel, not for me. So it's just like, why am I doing this? Because Mel had wanted to sell a TV show based around people predicting football and picking people predicting football and eating barbecue, and it was just like, that's a fun idea, but like, and I was just showing them how you can do a podcast, but after a while I was like, well, why am I doing this? In terms of how Ric Flair was treated on Kill Tony, I didn't really like it. It was kind of embarrassing. And I was talking about it with someone yesterday, and they were like, well, what about you on the roast? But that was paying tribute to him. I mean, you'd have to ask Tony and Red Band, but I think that after a while, it became, they may have started out, hey, let's have Ric Flair on, because he is, anyone who likes wrestling, I mean, yes, Hulk Hogan was probably the more known name, but I think really wrestling fans like Ric Flair more. So they might have gone into it going, hey, let's have him on and pay tribute to him and whatnot. But after a while, it was just sad. Like, I got sad watching it. So, knowing Rick like I know him, not that we're like best friends or anything, but, he probably had no idea what the show was about. And he probably didn't think people would be goofing on him as much. And, like, at least with the roast, he knew every roaster, even though he didn't know most of us. We were coming in because we were fans. So, but that's, the nature of Kill Tony is like it's not really a roast. It's kind of like roast and roast battle. People a lot of times think it's the same. A roast, you're paying tribute to someone deep down. Like, if they did a roast of me, and I'm not a big enough name to do a roast, but let's say they did the Earl Skakel roast. People are going to shit all over me for my glasses, the size of my head. Um, I don't know, my age, dating young girls, yada, yada, yada. And then at the end, they'll pay tribute to me. Hey, we love Earl, even though we've said all this. Whereas roast battle, you're picking apart someone. You're trying to hurt them before they hurt you. And yeah, but someone should have told him that. And maybe they did. Maybe he was drunk when they told him, hey, you got to say something funny about someone if they bomb, or if there's like a heavy set comedian on the stage, do a fat joke or something. And, you know, I don't know. I have to talk to him to see like what he was told. And um, Oscar with his Earl has dated some real slobs. I mean, I don't know who you're referring to, but I've actually dated a lot of hot girls, to be honest with you. Oh, is that Jordan the Lion? Jordan the Lion, who is my YouTube mentor. What up? What up? What up? What up? I will say, please go watch Days with Jordan the Lion if you love vlogs. He's got the number one vlog on YouTube by far. I mean, the work he does, he travels all over the world. He visits really cool things like, the Ultimate Warrior's grave site. Um, he'll do a tour of the Sunset Strip, or California Highway 2, or the Grand Ole Opry, and he'll do like an hour or so vlog on it, and it's 100 times better looking visually than my. I'm still finding my way onto the YouTube streaming. Yes, yes, I was. I'm still finding my way. I mean, will say the sign looks very cool, and Jordan told me to do this horizontally, but I tried on my iPad and it's not. I have to go into some settings and do it. So I was just out of a relationship. That is coming with Brian Slagle. Brian and I have been on podcasts together. We did, I think, 2 years ago, the Kings of the podcast. Brian is a huge hockey fan, and a lot of people don't know this. He's like me in this regard. He probably has the number one game worn hockey jersey collection in the world. It's even more than mine. Think about that. And so I can't wait because, and you probably can't get two people on a podcast who have different musical taste. And what I mean by that is, Brian, he's not just a fan, but he helped Metallica start out, and he likes bands like Megadeth and Slayer and Morbid Angel, where I like the softer side of 80s metal, Poison, Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, and whatnot. But he also, I think it was on his first compilation CD, I think in 1982, he had Rat on the same CD as Metallica. So I'm not saying he gave Rat their start, but he was probably the first really big promotional thing Rat ever got. I think it was right before MTV. So I can't wait to talk with Brian Slagle. We're both huge LA King fans, and we are excited. Kings made a big trade in the summer to get P.L. Dubois. And even though we had to trade my good friend Alex Iafallo, no, we don't have the same. I don't think me and Dean shop at the same places in any area of our lives. Yeah, I mean, Morbid Angel's cool. They're just a little hard for my taste, you know. But when I dated the manager for Motorhead, I went to probably 100 Motorhead shows in 6 years. So I got that kind of music out of my system. I like, bands that sing about pussy. David Lee Roth and assless leather chaps. Yeah, I mean, Metal Blade was very influential, in promoting bands before they made it. What do you think of Mick Mars? Let me see. I mean, that's a tough one, in terms of Mick Mars suing Motley Crue. Uh, you know, I think Mick Mars has, like, I might be wrong, but he's got anywhere from 2 to 4 divorces. And it sounds crazy to say this, but he's probably broke. That's insane to think, wait a minute, this guy was in a successful band for 40 years and he's broke. It's the same thing with Alex Van Halen. I think he has like 3 or 4 divorces, you know. I mean, Slash is part of the reason he probably went back to Guns N' Roses and plays in his own band as soon as Guns N' Roses is done. I think he's only had one divorce, but there's no prenup. Uh, to a stripper with kids. Yeah, I mean, Perlo really did a number on him. So now he probably still um, enjoys touring and playing. I mean, I didn't go to the show, and it's part of the reason why I want to have Brian Slagle on. But there was a big '80s metal festival, I guess you'd call it, this weekend at Coachella. Um, it's called Power Trip. I think Friday night it was Guns N' Roses. No, wait, hold on. Last night was Metallica and Tool. I think Saturday night was who was it? Judas Priest and AC/DC, and I think Friday night was Guns N' Roses and another big band. And according to Brian Slagle, the festival was a clusterfuck. I don't know where Vicky was. I'm going to guess Vicky was nowhere near that because if you saw the one crowd shot, it looked like at least 200,000 people. Now, I've been to Coachella before, and if memory serves me, it's like one way in, one way out. And according to Brian Slagle, and I know Brian pretty well. I mean, we're not like best friends, but yeah, Priest is unbelievable live, especially their age. And I'll give Guns N' Roses this. I mean, they're all in their 60s, I think, but the drummer might not be in his 60s yet. And they give you your money's worth. I think they played 35 songs. And I remember in 2018 when I saw them with Red Band. Red Band's done a lot for me, and I can't really help people out with their careers. So I said, Red Band, let me take you to Guns N' Roses. We'll sit in the front row. Now, there was no front row, there was just a pit. But we got there early enough where we were basically sitting in the front row if there was seats. And they played. That concert was so long, I got fucking tired. Unfortunately, Unleashing the East is amazing. 100% I'm a Palmer. Well, I will say this. I mean, I wasn't palming Red Band. I've never asked him for help, but he's put me on a lot of shows. Um, and, he's just been very good to me, so I can't help him. So, in terms of, hey, let me get you this gig, I can't get myself gigs. So, I usually take people to concerts. Like I took Adam Egget to Morrissey twice. Now it was a cool show because Billy Idol was the opener. Not Billie Eilish, Billy Idol. Get out of town. No, I mean, I've never been on Rogan. Joe asked me once before to do it, and I fucked up the execution. I think most of the people have heard this story before, but uh, we were in the back of the kitchen. It was late. I think it was on a roast battle night, and Joe came up to me and asked me. No, he told me, "Hey, I think it's time you come on the podcast. Call me tomorrow. I'll have Jamie set it up." And I thought to myself, now this is where being nice hurts me. You know, every day this guy is asked for something. People want to open for him. They probably hit him up for money. Well, Piercy's a good egg. I hope he doesn't get mad that I use the rat font. And so I thought, I'm going to call him in 2 days. Give him one day off of someone not asking for something. Most people would have called him before he left the driveway that night. So when I called him in 2 days, I kind of could tell he forgot. So I just fumbled. I mean, he was very nice. He was like, "Hey, Earl, what's up?" And I was expecting him to be like, "All right, let's get you on the podcast this day or that day." And then I just froze. Yeah, I mean, looking back, I should have just told him what I'm telling you guys now. Hey, you told me to call you about the podcast. Oh yeah, let's get you a date. Instead, I sales pitched to my friend Eric Audet, who, if you've ever seen the Brad Davis movie Midnight Express, Eric lived that in real life. Now, the movie is about, I think, an American who gets caught smuggling, it was either heroin or weed, but he ends up running a Turkish prison for like 3 years. Eric was in a Pakistani prison. He didn't get caught smuggling anything, but it's the same type of situation. Schaub's political advisor. Yeah, I don't know about that. Now, I've done one show with, Hashish. I've done one show with Brendan Schaub. He actually followed me. My only interaction with him was I had a really good set at the Improv, and I brought him up, and he just gave me a fist bump when I passed him on stage. He said, "Good job, dude." I said, "Go get him." So I know it's popular to shit on the guy, but I got no problem with him. Does Brandy Thompson own a shirt? Hey, when you have a body like that at his age, you don't need to wear a shirt. It's kind of like me. Maybe the next stream I'll take my shirt off, and I'm looking at anything in terms of getting some numbers. Just the way of the current comedy scene is being funny doesn't really matter. You have to have a following. I'm not. See, I'm just reciting lines with Ross from Cobra. But I'm hoping to. Now, upstairs, I've sold enough jerseys where I have a really nice, I guess you'd say, stage area. So I bought a new chair. I'm trying to pick a desk. Yeah, I'm not doing any body paint. It's too hot. Too hot. Yeah, but it's just a low one. And then it's hard to pick a desk out. There's like hundreds. You go on like Amazon and put in like I like Delia's setup. I mean, we don't have to get into that, but I do like his setup. So I'm looking at something like that. Go get the dog. I don't remember that one. You sure that's Cobra? And then I will have almost a talk show like appearance for YouTube with this sign. I'll probably get one more neon sign. Maybe I'll have inappropriate and a different, maybe black and whatnot. Have you considered doing one of the Stallone daughters together? No, I haven't considered doing one of the Stallone daughters. I mean, I would love to get Stallone on. Because he doesn't really do podcasts. So, and I do know someone that knows him fairly well. And that could be the episode that gets Inappropriate Earl a little bit of love, a little bit of, oh, did you hear Stallone on this guy's podcast? So, because I would do a really good job with him, because I wouldn't bring up Rambo or Rocky once. Maybe a little bit in the beginning just to set up the questions for some of his lesser known films. Like, I'd want to talk to him obviously about Nighthawks, Cobra, Over the Top, and kind of a Stallone movie nobody really talks about. And it's hard to talk about every movie. I mean, the guy's done, 60, 70 movies. So in the text of a hour-long podcast, ask about the Lords of Flat, but that would be a good one for Don't Do Rocky is. Well, I think Cliffhanger is what I'm trying. I love that movie with John Lithgow. I mean, listen, I got nothing against Shab. Like, I don't think he's funny yet because he hasn't really put in the work. I mean, when I first started getting any notice, and to be honest with you, it was from Roast Battle. I was 15 years into stand-up. Now, that's not saying that Brendan Schaub has to do comedy for 15 years, but you know, he's probably really been doing comedy for maybe 3 or 4 years, but it's not really been 3 or 4 years. Like, because he's in the early days, like in my early days, 3 to 4 years in, I was going up 3 times a night, 7 nights a week. I mean, I was an animal, and I would say that even on a night where I would say go see Kiss play in Irvine, I'd go to the concert. Now Irvine's like probably an hour and a half away if you know where I live in the LA area. It's in Orange County, and it's deep into Orange County. It's actually past Orange County, like it's past Disneyland. So you got to take the 5 to get there, or the 405, which is even a longer route. And so I'd go see Kiss, and I'd get up right when they started Rock and Roll All Night, and I'd stand by the exit, and as soon as they said good night, we'll see you next year, I'd run to my car and I'd go do an open mic in the Valley, which you couldn't get any more opposite A to Z in terms of, and I would drive like a maniac just to practice new jokes. So I don't think Schaub's ever done stuff like that. And to be honest with you, he's probably never going to do stuff like that. But that's when I initially started to pass other comics because I worked harder than they did. And, I don't think. Do you miss Marty's? No, I don't miss Marty's. Now, Marty's was an open mic where you had to pay $5 to go up in front of other comics. And I remember seeing Marty at Kookaroo once. I'm like, bro, no one's going to support your business model. Like, no, it's just, and he made a lot of money off a lot of suckers. I mean, comics. But, I don't think it's around anymore. So, I mean, most of the rooms I started out in are gone, which kind of makes me sad. What up? What up, Cupcake? Obviously, should got in because he was friendly with Triple A. Yeah. Well, I think Schaub got in because he was friendly with a lot of people. Rogan, Tripoli. I mean, Tripoli still puts him up on Comedy Store shows. And Hinchcliffe, I think is friendly with him. Callan's friendly with him. Theo's friendly with him. He's anything but dumb. Like, he's very smart. He gets in with people who are established kick-ass comics, and he gets their fans. And he loses some of their fans when they see him do stand-up. Kenny Lyon and Jungle Book. I've not seen Kenny Lyon in quite a while. But because he's just, I almost felt sorry for Schaub from the standpoint of, all your friends are famous comics. Rogan, D'Elia at the time, Theo, Callan, and all these other comics. They all have multiple specials. I mean, 2, 3 specials each. And you're the only one in the group who doesn't have one. So I think his first special was rushed. I knew his manager at the time. And the manager even asked me, well, what would you do with him? Because the manager manages a lot of actors. He doesn't really do much with stand-up. And I remember telling him, whatever you do, don't give him a special. He's not ready yet. I said, give him a Brendan Schaub and Friends. So he can have like half-hour special or whatever, or an hour, and you have Rogan, at the time, Rogan, D'Elia, and I don't know, Hinchcliffe. And they're doing new material. So that's the gimmick. Famous comics doing new material. Or you have 3 comics like, I don't know, me, Sarah, Tiana, and Brian Simpson. Three, not newer comics, but three comics who should be known more. And Schaub is the host. That's what I would have done. Because there's no way he had an hour of material at that point. There's just no way. So he can still write for Whitney. Well, we're all there. We're all waiting for the call from Whitney. So that's kind of, and now I feel bad for him because it's like people make fun of him all the time. But I'll give him this. I think he went to Skankfest, which, I was impressed with because he had to know that he's not that popular in the Skankfest world. And he went there, and I don't know how he was treated, but, if you go on that one Reddit subreddit, it's devoted to hating him, and it has like 60,000 members. Homeless Cats, I think it's called, or something. I went in there once saying, "Hey, everyone, Comedy Store paid regular. If anyone has any questions, let me know." And they just were ridiculing me. Like literally within 7 minutes, I was, yeah. I mean, Holtzman's the real deal. I had to follow him one night in the original room. Probably the two toughest follows I've ever had were both in the original room. One was Brian Holtzman, and then the other was Joey Diaz. Like, it was Joey Diaz, and then, like, 3 people didn't show up, like Ian Edwards, Jeselnik, and I think Whitney. And so I was the only paid regular. I was supposed to go on, like, an hour later. And then, so I had to go on after Joey. Now, let me tell you something right now at the Comedy Store. Joey Diaz doesn't do well at the Comedy Store. He kills. Yeah, Holtzman's great. So I had to go on after not just someone doing well, but someone killing, like murdering the room. And, I survived. I had to follow Chappelle one night in the main room, and that was easier than following Joey Diaz. Because Dave's kind of kicked back, and even though he's the probably the greatest comic of all time, like it certainly wasn't easy to follow, but Joey's energy in the original room is like, it's tough. It's like an acoustic band trying to follow Kiss. The Raiders-Steeler game was awesome. Really super fun. I went with Richie, the manager of the Comedy Store, and his friend, and then we met up with the great and legendary comic Eddie Ift. And Barry Diamond does not work the store. I don't think Barry Diamond works anywhere. Me and Eddie Ift had to keep the peace because sitting next to me and Eddie was this gigantic Raider fan, and this guy was looking for action. No, Richie was very cool. And then towards Richie's end of the seats, yes, Eddie Ift was a very drunk Steeler fan, about the same size as the Raider fan. And they were, they were both wasted. I think they were high too. And initially it started off as kind of fun. And then as it became clear the Steelers were going to win, it got a little acrimony between the two. Actually, the Steelers play again in Los Angeles this week. Me and Richie are going. The atmosphere was great. I was prepared for the worst because, Raider fans, the last time I went to a Raider game was in the Coliseum days, where you had to literally pay someone to park on their lawn in the hood because at least the Coliseum back then did not have a lot of parking, like structured parking, so you had to park in the hood. And I had a red car at the time, and I remember parking on this guy's lawn who looked like Delroy Lindo. And I said, "How much, bro?" And he was like, $40. He's like, "Okay, cool." I gave him 40. He's like, "Be better if you gave me 60. I'm like, "Why? Like, do you want your car here after the game? Because I'm not going to watch the game on my balcony." Lots of fights again, yes. Those were the good old days. Nobody rides for free. Rat and roll. But I was at the game at the Coliseum where I think the Raider fans threw a Steeler fan off the second story and he died. So I was like a little bit prepared for that, but it was really friendly. It was like a festival. We're all waiting in line to Point Break's a good movie. To get in, and Raider fans are chanting, and Steeler fans are chanting, but it was friendly. And I don't think I saw one fight the whole game. So, but it was fun. I would definitely go to Vegas. It's a beautiful stadium. I like it better than SoFi, to be honest with you. SoFi Stadium, considering that the stadium was built by two billionaires, it's not well laid out. I mean, I've been to sports games there, and I went to a Metallica show. Uh, that I know that's crazy that OJ got like a suite at the Bills game, only in America. And SoFi is very cramped. Like when I went to go get merch at Metallica, like they only had one merch table inside the stadium, and it was unbelievable. But Metallica's merch machine is really it's uh, it's pretty impressive. Like they are like Santa's helpers. They ask you what you want. They have the letters, and Metallica has so many shirts that they probably rival Iron Maiden in terms of merch options. I think the letters were A to N, and I'd be like, yeah, I'll take an A, C, and a D in large, and the person doesn't even. They just put their hand behind them, and they get an A, D, and an N in large. Like it's like an ant farm of workers, and there's not 1 second wasted at Metallica's merch. Um, I also bought a Pantera shirt because I didn't know Zach Wilde was in Pantera. Uh, oh, I mean, this Metallica merch line, I was in line, I think, for an hour. And that's when Metallica was on. I looked at the line when I think my friend's band Mammoth was on. Because that's why I was there. My friend plays guitar in Wolfie Van Halen's band. And my God, I mean, the merch when Metallica wasn't on, easily a 2 hour line. Now I will say the merch stand was right behind the stage, so you heard the songs, but you didn't get to see them. Um, so I mean, I would guess Metallica easily makes $1 million in merch a night, no doubt in my mind, and that's just off the merch. So, and I bet you they have a deal on alcohol sales too. Like they are a machine. So, you know, it was uh, it was a fun time. But at the stadium was it's just not well laid out. It's cramped. It's kind of confusing where to go. Um, so I liked the Raiders stadium better. I mean, we were probably I guess 100 rows up from the field, but right in the corner. So Lars takes all. I don't think he takes all the money, but he probably. I would guess did Tommy Morris open that show? Hello. Tommy Morris did not open Metallica. It was Mammoth, Pantera, Metallica. So it was a fun show. Super Bowl in Vegas, that's going to be crazy expensive. I mean, we were lucky enough through a friend of Richie's that we bought 4 seats from a Raiders season ticket holder. So, and I don't know how we're going to the Rams game this Sunday, but I'm assuming that we might just buy tickets. The darkness was amazing. Funniest. And before I forget, the Steelers defense is unbelievable. Someone said the Steelers defense is doing them well in fantasy. They are unbelievable with Highsmith and Watt coming in like that. It's very much like the days of Greg Lloyd and Kevin Green. Plus, I'm gonna butcher the guy's name, Okunjobi. Like the Steeler fans hated him because he was involved in that Mason Rudolph brawl against I almost said the Cavaliers, the Browns, but he's really good on the Steelers. And Joey Porter Jr. played a great game, and Obviously they have the best safety in the league with Minka Fitzpatrick. So, it's the offense that's the problem for the Steelers. They just, even without Deontay Johnson, and Fryermuth, that hurts for sure. They still have a ton of weapons. I mean, Harris out of the backfield, Warren out of the backfield, Pickens, Alvin Robinson's a great fill-in until Johnson gets back. Uh, they should be doing much better. I mean, they should target Pickens easily 10 times a game. Easily. Um, because at the worst, he's going to catch 5 of them. I know Big Bill, new champion. What's a cheap Super Bowl ticket? I mean, probably $5,000. But at the Darkness show, so you know how everyone goes to a concert and they film. They got their phones up, going like this. And, I took a few pictures as well, going like that, but nothing obnoxious. And I always made sure I wasn't blocking the person's view behind me. But I guess there was a guy. Now I was in the pit, so there weren't seats, but basically must have been a guy close to the stage who was being obnoxious with filming. So they finished a song, and then Justin Hawkins, the singer, says, "Let me see your phone. I want to read some of your text." So he takes the guy's phone and he starts reading some of his text. And I guess he went there with a buddy. So he's like, let me see your phone too. So he takes these 2 guys' phones and he's reading their text, and they were talking about where to park and where to sit. And then he's like, "You like filming the show?" And the guy's like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, everyone put your phones away for this song." And he stuck one of the phones up his ass. And I mean, he stuck it up there. He takes the phone out, gives it back to the guy, and goes, "Now get on stage and you're going to record this next song." And he gave out the guy's Instagram. So he's like, "If anyone wants to see footage of this next song, go on this guy's Instagram." And it was so funny. Like, he stuck this guy's phone up his ass, and then he gave it back to him. And then the guy smelled it. So they were really good. They're great showmen, and I think it was the 20th anniversary of Permission to Land. So they did all the songs off of that album. Now, my 2 favorite Darkness songs aren't on that album. So it's kind of a bummer to not get to hear One Way Ticket and Holding My Own. But they're so good. I mean, and I didn't realize Roger Taylor, the drummer from Queen, his son is the not new drummer, but they've had 3 drummers in the Darkness. Ed Graham, who I think had to retire from the band because he had a weird circulation disease. And then they had a girl drummer, I forget her name. And now they have Roger Taylor's kid. He's very good. And, obviously everyone knows Justin Hawkins' drummer, or Justin Hawkins' brother. Was that guy you? No, it was not me. It was not me. His brother's the lead guitar player, so they have good chemistry. And then the bass player's really fun. The bass player kind of looks like me. He's wearing this kind of gaudy purple dress suit, and he's got glasses and kind of the Jew fro. And it was a very, very fun show. And the opening band, I think they were called the Caballeros. They were really good, kind of like 38 Special meets, I don't know, Jakey Lee's band after Ozzy. Are you Roderick Strong? No, I'm not. But I keep your eyes out for the Caballeros. They were very good. They were the opening band, and it's kind of like Southern fried rock, like 38 Special meets maybe. What's that band that died in the plane crash? I'm drawing a blank. Leonard Skinner. It's really good. And all 3 guys come out in matching outfits, and the drummer was very, very entertaining. He gets up and starts playing at the front of the drums, like with his back to the crowd. I'd never seen anyone do that. Hey, it's funny. I was just telling someone about the Village People today. Like, they get a lot of shit for their image, but they had some good songs. Of course, they were all written by Giorgio Moroder, but they had a lot of good songs, like a lot. You know, they're way more than just YMCA. You had In the Navy, you had Macho Man, Go West. And of course, as a kid, I was like, what is Go West about? And I guess it was Go West to San Francisco. You know, it's so funny that, like I was probably 10 years old when they were big. I had no idea about the gay stereotypes that they were doing. Like, zero clue. Like, what's that mean? Uh, you can have a good time and get a hot meal at the YMCA. Like, what does he mean, good time? It's a gym. Oh, you can go in the sauna and, like, I got to be careful because could you rec any of the Goonies? No, it's been a while since I've seen the Goonies, and yeah, Rhoda also had American Gigolo. I'm trying to get this pharmacy in the valley. They have an autographed picture of John Matuzak, who played Sloth from the Goonies. I really want that. They were gay, and I said, "Well, I mean, I don't think all of them were gay though. I think maybe like two of them were." And I do a joke about it on stage about the manager sales pitching the guys who weren't gay, like, "Hey, you're going to tour the world. You're going to make a fair amount of money. You're probably going to get tons of puss, but one thing, while you're on stage, you have to act gay." Now we got to be careful on YouTube because I've recently got 2 live streams suspended on TikTok, and I guess that's a thing now. People reporting your live streams for no reason. They just want to get your channel down. So, and make a slap. I would love to make a slap shot. Those guys, because those guys were actually real hockey players. A lot of people don't know that. I think one or two played on the Kings, and I think one played for Minnesota, and he was actually a tough guy. Like, there was a fight he fought. I think it might have been Steve Carlson that fought Bob Probert and Joey Kocur. Like, they were legit, or one of them did. I forget which one, but I don't do the research of Jordan the Lion. Steve lives here in town. They film. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, I mean, they're still touring the country as they do, like, minor league hockey opening games, and Steve played with Gordy. But one of them fought. Maybe it was Jack Carlson. I think it might have been Jack Carlson. He fought, I believe, Probert and or Joey Kocur late in his career, early in their career. And I think Aldan Customs once. Yeah, I mean, those guys get it. I mean, they've made a living off of one movie for 50 years. Slapshot and Youngblood. Youngblood was a pretty good movie. Um, you know, I love when Newman tells the owner about, yeah. I think your son's. We can't say what he said on YouTube, but I tell you, speaking of funny movies, I made a tweet about this today. I forgot how funny Mike Henry was in Smokey and the Bandit. Like, if you go back and watch Smokey and the Bandit, Mike Henry played the dumb son of Jackie Gleason. And he was a serious actor. Like, he was in MASH. He was not the original Tarzan, but I think he was the Tarzan in the 60s. And, he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers and LA Rams. And in The Longest Yard, he obviously played a sadistic prison guard. But he was so funny in Smoking the Bandit. And what's even more impressive about that, can you imagine? Yeah, he was pretty jacked. I didn't know he was that jacked. But yeah, you could marry yourself as the next Mike. I would be the next Mike Henry. I mean, I don't have his body, but you imagine how nervous he must have been. Like, I don't know how I'm sure Burt Reynolds was like, "Hey, do you want to play Jackie Gleason's stupid son? It'll be great." Yeah, Little Enos was very funny. And he was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And the thing about Jackie Gleason and Smokey and the Bandit, what most people don't realize is that I think at that point in Jackie Gleason's career, he's probably drinking a bit. So he basically improv this whole movie. So that means Mike Henry had to improv off of his improv. And you imagine you're not really a trained improviser or stand up. He was probably shitting his pants, but he stole the movie to me. And it was just little lines. He would have like uh, one or two when he called. Yeah, yeah. Oh, but also when he orders the burger and then he goes to the front door and goes, "You want anything?" And you hear Mike Henry go, "Hush puppies, Daddy. We got no time for that crap." Um, and just um, the interactions they had in the car. "Look, Daddy, a football game. Can we watch?" "You stay. I'm going to catch the bandit. Give me a Diablo sandwich and a Dr. Pepper to go and make it fast. I'm in a goddamn hurry." And then he sits next to Burt Reynolds, and that was a great scene. Burt Reynolds kept flicking his eye because Jackie Gleason kept spitting food in his face. It's a great movie. I mean, I didn't like the second or third ones. They were grasping at straws then, but I think Mike Henry passed away maybe in 2020. Um, but I think he was born in like I mean, he was not that young when he did Smoking the Bandit. So, I think he was about 80 when he passed. So he lived a very good life. But I just kind of forgot how funny he was in the movie. Just great, And I like the casting. Uh, yeah, he puts the evidence. Put the evidence in the back seat, Junior. Right. Um, I mean, my favorite line I can't say on YouTube, but it was when Jackie Gleason's breaking down why Sally Field left. It's just pure old-fashioned communism. Happens every time one of them showboat dancers starts poontanging around with those. If you watch Kevin Brennan's show, I'll say piazzas. Uh, it kind of. I always like the casting of films, certain castings, when you take Mike Henry, who was probably a very serious actor, probably not the funniest guy in the world in real life. Uh, you really would have more people show up, but oh, it's all good. I mean, I know that I'm not. I got to start streaming with consistency, and I'm going to try and do this without guests. So if Ray had Joey C on, that's fine. But it's kind of like one of my favorite castings is RoboCop. All the bad guys in RoboCops were good guys. Um, they had never played bad guys before. Oh no, I don't really compete with the other, um, Ray and Kevin and all the others. I mean, obviously they have hundreds of Patreon people. I have 14, I think. So yeah, it's always good to hear your take. Yeah, I mean, I think I'll do. No, you should do. Yeah, I like F Noodles. He's always nice to me. I've done this comedy show. Also, Jacoby's show loves your work too. But, I don't know. Speaking of casting, Steve Gutenberg, I love him. So glad I caught you. I know you don't like. Uh, Kerwood Smith was a good guy. I missed almost an hour. That's all. Well, just watch it and share it if you want. Wow, you're coming in. Love the ultra violence in RoboCop. Yeah, and that was probably the edited version. Who knows? Like the original movie, the original cut, I should say, of Cobra got literally like a rated X. It was like William Friedkin's Cruising. I think Cruising got like a double X. It's one of the few films to get like a double X. So they had to cut like 40 minutes of it. So, but I don't really pay attention to who's doing live streams. I mean, obviously, I know Kevin Brennan is at 1 o'clock every day. When we get the Tex Cobb podcast, dude, you and the Ding Dong, I mean, I might. I mean, I'm thinking of. Well, that's the thing, though. Cobra, there's apparently there's like a 3-hour version of Cobra that's incredibly violent, triple the kills, and that's why if you watch Cobra, it doesn't really make sense in terms of the bad guy's not really in it that much. and apparently all the deleted scenes were his. So, um, well, I am getting a new TV, and I'm ordering a PlayStation 5. I just wanted to catch you live from the beginning of the damn. I remember a text call. I'm married with children. Health March soon. Well, I am. I have a friend of mine is a federal judge. He's trying to track down Tex Cobb for me, and he's very hard to. He's not a dumb guy, Tex Cobb. Uh, yeah. Well, what I'm trying to. I mean, I don't know how that would work, and I don't want to have people pay to watch me play video games. But I know friends of mine who make a lot of money doing that, like a lot. So yeah, Bridget hit the wall hard, big time. I mean, she peaked at Beverly Hills Cop 2, and then, but in Cobra, she was hot, and in Octopussy, she was very pretty. But she partied pretty hard, though. I mean, I love watching people play video games. I don't know. I'm just gonna play sports games, but I'm intrigued. I mean, my one friend Sarah, David Mendenhall. I would have David Mendenhall on Inappropriate Earl, but he probably doesn't want to talk about over the top. But maybe he does. I mean, he might have. And you can use Fourth Wall or Stream Elements for your tips, brother. Bryce, get back to me on that. I mean, uh, I'm upgrading to an 85 inch, 8K TV and all that stuff, and I'm going to get a PlayStation 5, and but I have no knowledge of Twitch or I'm a stand up, but hell, if you can supplement your income a little bit by playing getting paid to play video games, that's pretty cool. But I literally have no idea how to do that. Like, I'm assuming my friend Ari Manis, who is the one. Let me make sure I didn't miss any chats here. Sorry I have to get so close. My vision's horrible, to be honest with you. Let me see. And I don't know what Fourth Wall is. I know a girl who plays video games on Twitch, and she makes about $900 an hour. Yeah, but that's a girl, so like I'm assuming it's a little different. So keep it up, friend. Basically, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I want to do the video games and shit so I can build up a following. I mean, my whole goal is to get people to come watch me do stand up. I mean, people make fun of Matt Rife, but I remember when Matt Rife, um, he couldn't get on lineups, 5, 6 years ago, and now he's the top touring comic in the country because he built up a following. So, well, I don't know how to do it. So, if anyone can DM me on Instagram or Twitter with the logistics of it, let me know. I won't have the TV or PlayStation for probably about another week. I have to have a lot. Yeah, I mean that would be fun. I haven't even played video games in so long, but I just, they had a setup at Best Buy the other day of NHL 2024, and I was like, wow, this is pretty fucking cool. It's like have you been on a guest on Kill Tony? I've been on Kill Tony, I believe, 5 times. Twice as the Iron Patriot and 3 times as a guest. Probably my most famous clip from the show was when Allie Mack was on, and Tecmo Bowl was great. Earl, I don't know what that is, John. So DM me. So I don't want to hog up the chat with technical talk. But and Allie Mack was on telling a story about 2 comics. Please do, John. Thank you. Taking her to Tijuana, and I just chirped in, oh, was it Dalia and Brian Callen? And Tony got nervous because I think Tony wanted to get both on the show or something. So I haven't been back on since. But I'm okay with that, And now it's in Austin. I'll rarely, if ever, be in Austin, so. Which is fine. It's all good. I like all my Austin friends. So that is it for Monday, Earl live at, I called it live at 5, but I got home late from a walk. So DM me any ideas. And you need to get on Death Noodle's show and join us in the Discord and ask Chandler to help you out. I don't date Chandler anymore, so that's going to be tough to ask her. Uh, no, Jeff Ross will never have anything to do with anything I do again. Uh, but much love to Chandler. I haven't talked to her in a while, but such is life, I guess. So thank you guys. I'm trying to figure out how often to do this. Maybe Monday, Wednesday. If you can share or retweet it. Is she working with Jeff Ross? No, I don't think. If there's one thing we can agree on still, it'd be working with him is not pleasant. So, but there's plenty of other suckers who don't know that yet. We needed to get you on Skankfest. Well, I've done Skankfest once. I judged Naked Roast Battle when it was in Brooklyn. It was a very fun time. But I gotta start getting known for my stand-up. I can't be doing roast battles or any shit like that anymore. I am doing a special. What are you gonna do? Apparently, Planters does not have a good research department. But that's the big news I'll leave you guys with. The last year or so, I've been filming. No, I'm good. Yeah, I love Calgary. I'll only travel if I'm headlining, if the money's right. And I'm not a big enough name to get paid the good money. So, then he should contact you and help. Yeah, I'm down with. I'll go anywhere as long as I don't lose money anymore. A couple years ago, yes, Earl Skakel is on Patreon. I'll smoke to that, champ. I have 14 subscribers. But it is cool though. Like I don't take out my money ever. So the other day, I noticed that I had like $1,000 saved up. So I got like a couple pairs of Jordans. Like, see, I'm happy with that. And I'm happy for Kevin Brennan. I think he has like 900 Patreon followers. Chad has like over 100. Oh, thank you. I didn't do as well as I wanted to. I want to kill on stuff like that. But, my joke about the Hulk Hogan sex tape kept getting used on TNT without my permission, of course. They used it 3 times, 3 weeks in a row, and didn't even fucking have the courtesy to go, hey. And I would have been happy just with them putting at Earl Skakel. That would have picked me up a couple hundred followers. Yeah, I didn't like Rick on Kill Tony. I talked about that earlier in the stream. It just was sad to watch. At least on the Ric Flair roast, we were all paying tribute to him. But someone should have told Ric Flair that Kill Tony is like they want blood and whatnot. But I know I made it, but then they kept replaying it, like, and they used it in another episode. And I'm not saying I wanted like to make millions of dollars from it, but like at least put my Twitter handle or Instagram, so I can mooch a couple followers. That's something that, on TNT 3 weeks in a row, if they would have put at Earl Skakel in the clip, that would have got me probably anywhere from 500 to 1,000 followers on Instagram. And I think I have close to 12,000. Yeah, just a plug for the joke. Oh, well, that, if you guys want to know how podcasting works, you got to tweet it. And I'm not trying to get you guys to do my dirty work, but, if you want me on like Theo's podcast or Santino's podcast, you got to tweet and Instagram them, hey, well, you should have Earl Skakel on. And then that gets my name in their head, and they either want me on or they don't. So because I'm, friends with those guys. I mean, I'm probably closest with Santino. I'm used to be pretty close with Theo, but for some reason we aren't anymore. We didn't get into an argument or anything. We just, in comedy, you go through phases of hanging with certain people, and then they move on, or you move on, or you both move on, and there you go. So if you bone Bobby Lee, it helps. That's not going to happen. But we do share the same birthday. Yes, Santino is the redhead. Yeah, I mean, but that Corolla um, episode, I think I picked up like 500 followers on Twitter and Instagram. So, and he was great. We had good chemistry. I was a little shy on there. It was my first time, and I didn't want to overtalk him. Obviously, he's a radio and podcasting legend. But I think I'll be back. I don't know how they. Um, I don't know if they bring guests back a lot or whatnot. Yeah, I mean, I'm a great storyteller because I've lived a wacky life. I mean, uh, for someone who has never done a drug or drink, I've lived a pretty um, interesting life. I mean, I've been to gangbangs, I've been to Super Bowls and after parties, and I paid regular at the Comedy Store, so I've seen a lot there, and my family background is interesting. Like my family wasn't rich, but we grew up in Bel Air, and being related to the Kennedys and whatnot. So, but if you want, me on the bigger podcast, it helps if people, I don't know, tweet at Rogan or whatever. Yeah, gangbangs are cool as long as you get there early. But let's do this again. I'll probably do another one Wednesday night. Yeah, I mean, me and Bobby. I mean, obviously, I know him and Santino have a great podcast together, but it would be. Well, Corolla was cool with me, so I felt very comfortable, but I still felt a little. I didn't want to give him the full Earl yet because he's nice enough to invite me on. It's his podcast, so I was a little more subdued than I normally would be. Like on Rogan, I'd be a little amped up just because I know Joe a lot more than I know Adam. So I think, and I think Joe, he would know. Yeah, I think people would DM Joe and go, "Hey, if you want to get Earl going, ask him about," and then he would. And yeah, I've done Kim and Sarah's podcast a long time ago. If I, yeah, I mean, I loved being on It's Your Mom's House. I'm not sure why I haven't been asked back. It's possible they don't like me. I'm a lot friendlier with Christina than I am Tom, and Tom's always nice to me. But I just, I did a lot of shows with Christina in the early era of our stand-up lives, and I think I was in the beginning of one of Tom's specials, maybe about 10 years ago. So this was fun, guys. I really appreciate the people watching, and so I'm gonna try and do it Wednesday live at 5. So you East Coasters, that's 8 p.m. for you. Thank you to my yes, thank you. Share it if you can. I'm not above asking for help. And follow me. I'm on all social media. I'm at Earl Skakel. EARLSKAKEL. And thank you to my friend Jordan the Lion. Check out his vlog. It's the best vlog on YouTube. He's like my streaming coach. And if anyone has any tips on it, yeah, I think Boone is dead. But I mean, thank you, John. But it sounds silly, like one person sharing. But then maybe another person shares, and the watch hours get up there quicker than they would if no one shares. And that's why I don't give Matt Rife any shit. Like his fan base shares everything, and like that's how he got so big. People want to know when I'm going to play their town and stand up. No stand up club is going to book me unless they think they can fill the club. So if you have a lot of social media followers, they book you. Jordan, you probably have a better chance of finding Boone than the rest of us. No, I think Boone's dead, unfortunately. I hope I'm wrong, but I've known Boone for 20 years, and I never went longer than 2 days without seeing him at the Comedy Store. And it's been now, he has not been at the Comedy Store since 2020, so almost 4 years. Uh, Math fans are hot women. Well, but I mean, but that, it's smart that, I mean, yeah, his fan base are women. I don't know if they're hot women, but you put a bunch of women in the room, a bunch of dudes want to be there too. So it's really like, uh, that's what I want. If I can get older women to be my fans, the guys will still come to the room. I mean, women are women, and I can't fuck them all. Hello, and nor can Matt, even though he's younger and in shape. You run out of juice at some point. Earl is a wonderful rescue dog. Also, well, I only have Lois now. Annie is in heaven. So, but I love Annie a lot. But I love you guys a lot. This was a very fun stream. Thank you to my friend Jordan for talking me into doing it. Sometimes it gets discouraging doing streams and podcast episodes um, when you're not really getting compensated for it. And I don't even necessarily mean money wise, but like no one retweets and shares it. It's like no one sees it, so I lose my enthusiasm. But Wednesday I might do a little bit of hockey talk, so I don't want to bore you guys with hockey talk, but it is the opening. Actually, I probably, I just remembered I have to be on the roast that night, and I have to be in East LA at 6:30, so I might. I'm not sure when the next stream will be. Might be, I'll figure it out. But I'll let you guys know. Thank you guys. Earl Skakel. We're at the 72-minute mark. I love you all. My fans are the best. And I will see you soon.